practice some of that for you. Boundary marking. What a fun intervention. This is a strategy in which the counselor reinforces appropriate boundaries and maybe tries to interrupt inappropriate boundaries by modifying transactional patterns. So, for example, a counselor may sit between an intrusive mother and her child so that the mother will have difficulty speaking for the child. So if you find that you're asking the child a question and the mom answers, happens all the time, right? There's lots of different things you can do. You could physically move and sit in between them, which I've done. Or you can have eye contact with the child only and never ever have eye contact with mom. That's a boundary marking, isn't it? You see the boundary marking there? It's kind of sending the message, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her. I might do that with kids too. Because sometimes kids answer questions that the mom is supposed to be able to answer, and the dad, because they're the adult. And yet this child is parentified, and this child shouldn't have that role, and that's not appropriate. So even though the mom is looking at the kid to answer me, I look at the mom. And I say, I'd really like to hear from your mom on this. This really sounds like a mom kind of thing. Do you hear that boundary? What's that boundary? This seems like a mom kind of thing. I'm trying to mark a boundary between the daughter and the mom. I'm trying to say to mom, Mom, this is your job. Daughter, this is not yours. You hear that boundary marking? Okay? I can do that. And other fun ways I like to do that sometimes is to send kids out of the room and say to them, oh, I've got something I really need to talk to your mom about, and it's not something that the kids need to know. And what do you think their response is? Oh, what do you mean? We got to stay in here. We want to hear what you have to say. And the mom is even probably thinking, well, of course they need to stay in here and hear what you have to say. I'm like, no, you guys go out, and mom and I are just going to have a little conversation by ourselves. So it just creates mystery, and they see this boundary that they've never felt before, and it's kind of weird for them, and it's wonderful. I love it when that happens. It's very important. Sometimes I love to use envelopes and messages in envelopes. So I might send an envelope in and give it to one of the family members and say, this is just for this family member. What does that do to you if you're a family member that didn't get the envelope? Or even that did? Kind of depends on what's in there, right? Because it could be a message that challenges that family member. Could be a message that empowers that family member. I can do all kinds of things by doing that. Okay? A child that might be triangulated between two warring parents might come in, they might sit down, mom, dad, kid smack dab in the middle. You might physically pull that kid out of the middle. And you might say, as you do it, that's not a good place for you. Why don't you come sit by me? And then go on talking. Do you feel the boundary marking? Do you sit and explain it to them? No, why not? Why can't I say, listen, let me just give you a little teaching moment here. I'm gonna move your child out because two of you are being just silly, and you're warring over this kid. You're making this kid sick, and if you guys could stop that, everything will be fine. Why can't I do that?
Because it's easy to hear something, it's not easy to do it.
Good. So there is a difference between being able to take it in and being able to do it. Okay? The other thing is you got to kind of remember some of the families that Mnuchin was working with. You think they cared what the counselor had to say? You think the counselor had a lot of influence? You think the counselor was seen as an expert?
Well, the parents are very touchy on being told how to parent. So if you try to tell them how to parent, they shut down, I think.
You do
Good.
subtle things, they can kind of
Especially
get
with
it, but they don't wanna
people
be
you work
told.
with were a different culture.
Yes, yes. So you have to be very careful about imposing on the family and not being culturally sensitive, not being sensitive to, you know, what they're doing. And at the same time, you've got to find a way to help them change, even when they don't want to. A lot of these families that we're going to talk about, strategic and structural family therapy works best for, are the families who don't want your influence. They've got boundaries, and those boundaries do not include you. You are a foreigner, and you are not welcome. And they have lots of reasons for that, right? What might be a reason for me to not exactly welcome my counselor into my family?
Protection.
Yes, protecting them like nobody from the outside has ever done my family any good, for one, especially those families that are in and out of the system, multiple systems, you know, they've been beaten up in those systems. Those are some of my favorite families to work with, because I know what they've been through, and I know that they need more subtle and respectful interventions. So insight is not our goal here. That is not part of this. Insight has been almost everything we've had up to now is about insight. Now we're getting away from insight. We don't need insight. We don't want insight. We want action. We want change. Okay? So boundary marking, you have to be creative. You're going to have to learn how to kind of be in the moment and be creative in using some of these techniques.
So like, by
Yes.
doing that, like pulling them out of the middle versus talking to them too, you don't have to do you don't have to get the buy-in. If you have to start that conversation, you have to do all the work to get them to buy in, but if you do something and they see a positive outcome, you don't have to waste your energy and time trying to get them to believe what you say. It's just done.
True, because you don't want to convince them. You just want to change it.
You don't have time to a lot of times.
Right. Yeah. These are very brief kinds of therapies, much briefer now, for that very reason. Because for one, some of the families that we're going to see that are in and out of lots of systems because there's been there are a lot of mandated clients, they don't really stay in treatment, and you're not going to have that long with them, and so your interventions are going to have to be pretty quick and those of you that work with families in schools, it's not like you're going to get to see them multiple times. You might even just see them once. Just imagine what one boundary marking can do. See, you don't have to do this stuff for 12 weeks. You can do one boundary marking and help a child. You really can. You can do one reframe and help a child. So these techniques work. And they work in a university setting too, for those of you in student affairs. I use them with my own staff. You know, they really help. So it isn't as if departments don't get dysfunctional from time to time. Maybe. All right, do you guys understand boundary marking? Okay, and that we are beginning to talk about being subtle. I love that came up, Angela. That was very insightful, because we're going to even get more subtle with strategic. Strategic is covert. It's a covert mission that we're on. These are still a little bit more overt, but still they're getting more subtle. All right,